Hello, yesterday I showed a picture of this machine here on Twitter and people seemed very interested in it and asked me, how is this done? Please show us. So, well, here it goes. I'm going to try to show you how this machine works. Some parts are pretty complex. There's some RedNet controlling components of it, which are a bit complex, but I will try to go through it all and explain at least the basics so you can understand that, but I will try to go into it all. If you haven't seen it yet, basically what it is you give it two seeds of the same type, and then you will get better versions of that. So in the beginning I had these low tier seeds here, but now I've gotten to much better ones. So the growth rate, the gain and strength, much better than before, and it's doing that automatically. Of course, you can do all of this yourself manually, and that actually goes a bit faster. If you pay 100% attention to the breeding process, then you can do this pretty much faster yourself. But of course, this can do its things while you're doing something completely different. Okay, so before I get into the actual machine, what it needs from the outside is it needs some bone meal. Here we have tons. It doesn't actually consume a lot, but it needs some bone meal to speed up the process. Need some energy as well. We get it from the tesseract there, and it's used to power all these autonomous activators, 11 in total. We also need some crops from AgriCraft. We use them for the whole growing process. You don't need a lot, but I set up a system here that if one adds wood, you would get the crops out like that using Steve's workshop. However, it doesn't use a lot because it recycles the ones it uses, but it actually consumes a few. All right, before I go up as well, we also have a set of thaumium hose here and more to that later, and these aren't draining very fast, so there's no restock process here. So finally it will run out of those and then one would have to replace them. Right, so to the machine. So if you're not aware, AgriCraft, basically what you do is you put down these crops on some farmland, for instance, and then you put down the seeds. So you can see the flowers there and the flowers there, and then in the middle between those you put down two crops and you get these horizontal crops on top, which allows it to spread. And basically what can happen is either nothing happens for a while, or nothing might have happened yet, or we can get some weeds that have sprouted, or we have an actual better version of the flowers. And what we do here, I think it's a cycle of every 30 seconds, and that's controlled through RedNet, using this programmable RedNet controller, and a bit more to that logic later. But basically we have this green color here, or lime I think it is, that activates this piston once in a while. And that will move down the glass and destroy the crops in the middle, no matter what. So we don't actually detect if anything is there. It's just going to smash that. And well, you could use an autonomous activator, which is what I did in the beginning here. But there's one problem. Then we will have 3 dirt or 3 farmland in the bottom, and all other 11 sides, 11 sides will be occupied. Is there 11? Yeah, 11 sides actually. 3 on the top, 3 down here, 3 there, and then 2 on the side. All 11 sides will be occupied by autonomous activators, which will block all the lights. And at least the botanic flowers can't grow without lights. I think there's some other ones that can't do that. So that was a problem. So it was completely dark, nothing could grow. So therefore I had to do this weird solution with a piston and some glass. So it moves down the glass to break it all and destroys the middle bit. So if there were weeds there, we get rid of those. If there were nothing there, then well, we just destroy it. But if there were crops there, then we pick them all up. Oh well, not crops. If some seed, if the flowers bred and we got some extra seeds, then we will destroy those and get those seeds. And basically what happens here is as soon as we destroy that, then the hose are activated using, something like that, using RedNet. We can go down and take a look. If you take a look here, we have the cyan color there connected to this thing. So we activated this. converts it back to farmland. You wouldn't need this if you're using autonomous activators, but like I said, that wasn't possible. Then what happens is we have this autonomous activator on the other side. It runs all the time. It aims low and puts some crops there. So it puts the crops there in the middle, and then that doesn't matter. We can do that all the time because it doesn't do any harm. If there's crops there already, it doesn't do anything, and as soon as there's farmland, it will do things. However, this on the other side needs to be redstone controlled, and this puts the crops aim in the middle, which is the horizontal crops. Unfortunately, you actually need two different autonomous activators to do this. If you aim in the middle, you can't place the bottom ones. If you aim to the bottom, you can't place the horizontal ones. But this needs to be high, otherwise it will place the horizontal crops, remove them, place them, remove them, place, and so on. So this is also controlled by RedNet using another color. So basically, first the piston goes down, then the hose are activated, then the bottom ones are placed automatically, and after a bit of a delay, then the horizontal ones are placed. So in the middle here, we're just on a cycle, destroying and replacing it, so we can generate the seeds if we're lucky. And those will be destroyed and picked up by this hopper hog from Botania. So I don't know if you've seen it. It's people have probably seen a vacuum hopper. It basically picks up items from afar. This is the same thing, but it's a flower, and it puts things in this chest in quite a big radius actually. So what it will pick up is the crops that were destroyed, any seeds, and any gain from the flowers if a fully grown flower were destroyed, which will happen. We'll get to that later. So it will pick that up and put it in the chest. Any gain from the flowers will actually be voided. You could store them, but since the purpose of this machine is to breed the flowers, the gain is not priority one there. So they are just voided downstairs. And the crops are looped back into this barrel there with all the crops in. So the only reason a crop is lost is actually when these horizontal ones are removed, and those are removed if something sprouts there, either weeds or some seeds. So like I said before, there are not a lot of crops actually required for this machine. You need some, but it doesn't actually drain a lot because it recycles these crops all the time. But if you get seeds, however, they are moved to this chest, and this is put into this filter. I used some yellow seeds previously, mystical yellow flowers, but now I use purple ones, so this is not required. But this is basically it. If you change the flower or the seeds, pretty much, you can just change it here, and you can remove the old ones. So it's ignore metadata, ignore MBT, and it's a whitelist. And this is basically what you need to do if you change what flower you use, and that's one goal I had with this machine. It should be easy to change what you're breeding. So all the seeds gets into here, and as you can see, this servo is also activated, so they will actually go all the way through to this chest here, and that will send a signal using this comparator to this RedNet controller. So it will go all the way through here, send a redstone signal, and here we can see that these are some debugging lamps. So the white signal out here is actually on, and the white signal is this one here. So it's the servo here. So once we have something in this chest, then this will turn off, which basically means this servo here will turn off. And that means we have a seed here, and we will wait for the next seed to come, and that one will stop here. So basically what we're doing here is that if we have two seeds, they breed together, we can assume that they are at least as good as the old ones, but most likely better. So what we do is we get one seed, store it in that chest, and then we wait for another seed and store it in this chest. So we have a pair of them, and once we have a pair of them, we want to replace the old ones. So the old ones have done their job, and we have the next generation, which is as good as the old ones or better. So by doing this, we replace the old ones, and well, the cycle continues until we have our perfect seeds. So once we have both, we will use both these comparators, and we can get some into some of this red net. There are I think I use 15 of these logic cycles, so there's a bit here. So this one is basically on the left side. If we have a signal inverted to the top side right, which is basically what I said here. If we have a signal here, we will stop the redstone going there. The next part is this thing here. If we have a signal on both the right side and the left side, we will send out a signal on variable 2, and variable 2 we will then use to sort of define some pulse lengths. So we give a one-shot pulse to variable 3, and then later on we use that to create a longer signal. So there's a few timing issues here that has been dealt with, and this other one here is for later. We want to disable the machine at one point so it doesn't continue at this phase currently. But the basic part of what I just showed you is that if we have a seed in each of these chests, then we will send out a orange signal here, which will basically pick up both the seeds. Of course, if both of the seeds arrive at the same time, we will have a bit of trouble because they will both get here. However, that will never be the case because, well, we need to wait at least for the next pickup cycle for that to happen. We might get lucky, so we get seeds right away, but we will still have to wait for the next pickup cycle, you know, when the piston goes down, which is every 30 seconds, so that will never happen. Yeah, okay. So the orange activates, and these are picked up and moved into these top pistons, which are used to place the seeds, right? But then some other things happens. The old seeds have been used, so we will activate these pistons, which are left-click ones, and controlled here by some color. I don't know which one. Can't see. Magenta, it looks like. So we send out a magenta signal, which breaks the crops, like the whole system there. And we place some new crops. This needs to be on a high signal, because otherwise, when the crop would be fully grown, it would break them. Because if you right-click a fully grown crop with anything, they will basically drop their gains, like what you get from the flower, and you can start to grow it again. Basically, the seed will still be there, and we don't want that. So basically, these will have to be on a signal. So we send them a light blue signal once this piston. There's some, like I said, there's some timing in the red net. So first we get a magenta signal to break it all, then we get a light blue signal to place new crops. And since we break these guys with autonomous activators that were always the plan to break things with, we don't need any hoes to retill the land. So they are broken. We replace the crops, and then once that's done, we can activate these ones, which are dark gray, to place the seeds. So we have one seed in this one and one seed in this one, and the both halves here are exactly the same. So on this side we also have break it, place the crops, and then place the seed like that. Then on the sides here we have some bone meal, and this is completely filled with bone meal, but it doesn't use a lot. As you can see, it is always activated. So as soon as it can, it will bone meal things. But when a flower is fully grown, it can't bone meal anything. So basically, once the new seeds have been planted, these will consume a few bone meal and make the flower grow. So it doesn't consume a lot of bone meal either. Like I said, it didn't consume a lot of crops because those were recycled. It doesn't use a lot of bone meal because they are rarely used. Basically, when we replace the seeds, well, the flowers, with the next generation of flower, which only happens once we get 2 seeds, then we need to make sure the new generation grows up right away, and that's where the bone meal is used. So for each generation, we use like 2 or 3 bone meal per side. So maybe we use like 6 bone meal per generation, and then you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 14, 18, 20. We have, oh, there's some mismatch here. I probably removed something at some point here, but we have about 20 seeds there. So that's 10 generations, and that's 60 bone meal pretty much. So for all of that, for that whole process, only a stack of bone meal was used. Of course, if you don't have any type of bone meal production, it might seem like a lot, but it's not a huge amount of bone meal, just to get the new generation going, pretty much. So that's most parts of it, but it's not completely finished, because what happens here is that when we break the old generation of flowers, what happens? Well, it drops their seeds. Wouldn't that trigger the whole machine again? But that's where we set a specific variable. I think, well, we actually set this light gray color here, and a variable, and that's what this part is here. This variable 4 is the inverted of that color, and basically what it means is, well, the machine is temporarily in shutdown, because once a new generation has been planted, we assume that all seeds we get out of the machine are the old ones. So I don't know exactly the timing of that. Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, exactly. So once the orange one starts, this one, that we pick up the new generation out of the chests here, we say, okay, for 300 ticks, so that's 15 seconds, everything we will get out of the machine is old news. Of course, it could be so that exactly as these move out, the piston goes down and picks up something new. Yeah, that's true. That's quite unlikely, but it could happen. So if that happens, no big deal. We get a small setback because we don't use that new seed. That probably is better than the ones actually going into the system as the new generation. But during these 15 seconds, basically what will happen, the old seeds are broken, put into this chest, they move into this chest, send out this signal. Since there's nothing in that chest, they will move over. If they come one after a time, that's fine. Then one will stop here for a while. If they come at the same time, both will move out to that chest. So one might stay here for a while, which makes both these compared to be on at the same time, and that's exactly why there's a, why there's this one here, the inverted stop signal here, which basically means we need a seed in both chests, and we can't be on our way to reset like the old cycle or whatnot. So that prevents this orange signal to activate again, basically moving the things out. And that means that we will either get one seed there and one seed here, or both seeds here. But what we'll have, I don't know if that's visible, but here we have light gray, which will, did I say it was dark gray? No, I said it was light gray. Dark gray is over here, I think, the planting process. Okay, anyways, so while this 15 second period is going, then anything in this chest will be moved out. So it's either one seed or both seeds, and those will be moved out into the seed analyzer, which will then move the seeds over here. So one seed goes in this chest, moves out, and then the other seed, if it were here already, it will just wait for that to be finished, unless they can stack, and they can stack if they are exactly the same, then it will be analyzed at the same time. Otherwise, if one seed is still here, as soon as this one leaves, it will obviously go over and into the seed analyzer, and that's it. The old seeds, the old generation is out of the system, and after that 15-second period, any new seeds will be considered a new generation, which they will be, of course. The next seeds coming into the system will, of course, be seeds that have newly sprouted there in the middle. And like I said, it's not, if you pay full attention, oh, there we go, we got some seeds there. If you pay full attention to these seeds when they're growing, you can do it faster when it happens manually. For instance, you can, as soon as some seeds grow, you can pick them up. As soon as some weeds grow, you can get rid of them. You can have multiple of these 3 setups going at the same time. When I did it myself, I had 3x3 with dirt, where 5 of those were all flowers. So it had 4 spots to grow, but each of those had 3 around them and so on. So if you're paying 100% attention, you can do it quicker. And then you can also analyze the seeds to make sure that you replace the worst flower with the best new one, and so on. However, this does it all automatic, as long as some of these materials are provided, the thorium hose. And I forgot to mention that the reason why I use those is because due to Tinker's construct, normal hose don't work, and the mattock which you're supposed to use, like these things, they didn't work in the autonomous activator. So the reason why I use the thorium hose, because those weren't broken by Tinker's construct. So I just found some hose that I still could use. So you need those, they will slowly degrade. You need some crops, most of them are recycled, so you don't lose a lot. You need some bone meal, and then you need power to power all these, along with, of course, all the resources to build this. And then in the end, you get better and better flowers here. So these are starting to become very nice. And as soon as I have the best ones here, the 10-10-10s, then I can get them from there and replace these with something else. And the way I do that is, of course, that I put the new seed here as well, and then I just put the 2 seeds here, not at the same time, remember, because they will both go through the system. I put one there, and then I put another one there a second or two later, and it will replace the... Now the new generation and the old generation won't be of the same type. That doesn't matter. The old generation is still moved out and put into the chest, and the new generation is put down here. And of course, if I need special flowers that uses something else, if I want to grow, for instance, sugar canes, I just replace these with sand. Of course, something under them as well. If I need something that requires, maybe I need redstone flowers, so I need redstone under the dirt, then I just place it here. So it's designed so you can do that. And if I need to grow something like nether wart that can't have any sunlight, oops, I got stuck here, then I just replace this glass block with like cobblestone or whatever, and it completely covers it up. So it can grow pretty much whatever. It's a bit slower than manual stuff, but it does it all automatic. And that's about it. I know I didn't show all the RedNet configuration. It's a lot of timing there. It just controls all of this, and it's a bit of a mess there where things goes back and forth and so on. But this is the basics, how it works. It crushes the middle. If it gets crops, it if it gets seeds, it stores one of those seeds. Once it has 2, that's considered a new generation. It replaces the old generation with the new generation for a 15-second period. Any seeds getting into the system is considered to be old because it's probably the old generation. They are moved through the system out on one side and gets analyzed, put into that chest and that it's stored there. The new generation goes on, and that's about it. So I hope you liked this explanation. Maybe it was too complex, maybe you wanted more detail. If so, leave suggestions, I can answer them or whatever. And that's about it. Thank you for watching.